Satisfy your need for happiness through your own curiosity with the Ranveer Show. I've begun to ask a lot of older men about what the 20s was like versus the 30s versus the 40s versus the 50s. For monks, are the 20s, 30s, 40s and 50s the same? As in like, because monk life it's straightforward.
So 20s, I'm just entered the ashram, started studying the Gita, started studying the Bhagavatam. So in 94 to 2000 period, when I was in the ashram, my schedule would be 4 to 7 hours studying the scriptures. After I would get up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, do my morning prayers till 9:30, then breakfast, and then from 10 to 1 practically studying. Again after lunch 2 to 5 studying as much as possible, and of course some worship here and there. I was also in the kitchen, so served there in the morning or evening, whatever. Then from 94 onwards, I started understanding one thing: to study the scripture. Like if somebody who is watching this show, your episode, the podcast, has a desire, I want to understand the Gita, I want to understand the Puranas, I want to understand Upanishads, I want to study deeply. So the method given is that parasparanu kathanam pavanam bhagavatisha. You speak. Teaching scripture is the fastest way of learning scripture. This is a sutra. This is a very, very important secret. That in the first canto Bhagavatam also, akhyatani api adhitani dharma shastrani yanyuta. That akhyatani means studying, adhitani means studying, akhyatani means teaching. So my schedule was Monday, I would go to a RBI colony in Bombay Central. And then Tuesday, I would go to some Nair hostel. Wednesday, I would give a talk in the temple. Thursday, I would go to Grand Medical College, JJ. Thursday, I would go to Sion, Hanuman Mandir. Friday, I would go to, one more program, which was in Kamatipura, Nagpada area. Saturday, I would go to JJ, Grand Medical College. And then Sunday, when people would come to the temple, I would speak to them. So 7 days a week, I made it a point that I'm studying 4-5 hours and also speaking at least 2 hours.
The IIT JEE of your 20s.
So that was a very, very deep sadhana for me, that I wanted to just study so deeply to understand, because that would become the foundation.
The reason I said IIT JEE is because you're an IITian, graduated. In your 20s, were you thinking of that identity at all?
See, I was not personally thinking much, but wherever I would go, people would make a big deal about introducing me as an IITian and all. You know that once you go through...
It's still happening. I'm bringing it back. Even in your 50s?
Yeah, I'm 53.
Sorry, keep continuing the timeline, sir.
So, then that was a period where my guru, Radhanath Swami, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, was written The Journey Home and The Journey Within bestsellers from Chicago, and then came to India and spent last 50 years practically creating the Chopati community and now the Govardhan Eco Village and all. So we really connected and bonded well, as they say, jam gaya relation. So he had just taken over the leadership of this project in 93, 94, and I had just joined. So it was a fresh relationship, and somehow the personalities and wavelengths matched. So he was like the visionary, and then he looked at me as someone who could also help execute. So then the first service which he gave was to expand youth outreach, teaching Gita to youth across colleges in Mumbai. So practically from Ulhasnagar till Kolaba, all colleges I visited, sharing Bhagavad Gita, establishing one-time programs, then starting a regular program. And there was a team of 15 to 20 other monks also. And we established what is known as ISKON Youth Forum.
from my balcony outside, I was once glancing out. I was with a friend of mine and we saw an ISKCON monk handing out a Bhagavad Gita
Yes.
to people.
Correct.
Bunch of Bhagavad Gita. And my first gut feeling as a materialistic human was, damn, I'm feeling bad for that guy. But it's not like that from the monk's perspective, right?
No, we are just sharing the knowledge with others. So that's the idea of book distribution. Srila Prabhupada established book distribution. And for your information, thanks to the books distributed across the world, the donations which came from distributing those books was used for building the temples in Vrindavan, in Mayapur, in Juhu. So the Juhu temple, which is right now so famous, but in 1976-77, Srila Prabhupada sent money from the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, which is ISKCON's publishing house in Los Angeles, for funding the construction of that. So 20s was very much studying and teaching.
Hard
studying,
work.
Studying, teaching, studying, teaching, studying, teaching. Then it was 2000, 2001, Chopati, 1 acre property, we have the temple in, next to Babulnath temple. It was in a very dilapidated structure. And some of our devotees who were entrepreneurs, they grew their business. Mr. Rajiv Srivastav, Kushal Desai, and Dr. N.D. Desai, they grew their business of Apar Infotech, and it exited in that 2002-2003 period. And when that, actually they didn't want to exit, Rajiv didn't want to exit at that time, but Radhanath Swami very much wanted that we need some funds to help renovate this place because it looks very dilapidated. So he was hesitant, but because Maharaj insisted, he surrendered. And he still tells me that that moment was like, equivalent of taking sannyas. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you want to grow your business from here to here to here, and you're told to exit here, it hurts, kind of. So it was that experience, but he thought ultimately it is for a larger purpose, so he exited. And with the funds which came from that, a lot of renovation started in Chopati ISKCON, and that was when Radhanath Swami pulled me in further into little more administration projects, because I'm coming from a certain background. So then that part started coming out.
What about your own personal journey? Like how you said in your 20s, you were still second guessing a little bit because of society and people around you.
Right.
And generally, I think that's what monks
Yes.
all over the world go through.
Yes.
Were your question.
Self-introspection. And
as a 31-year-old male, I'm much more settled in who I am right now.
Right.
Is there a reflection of that?
Yes. So as I entered the 30s, there was more stability because your identity as a monk becomes more settled. So yes, people also start, and society also plays a part. They start accepting you, respecting you. So in fact, what happened was in 1995, the first 7 days a week television program started in India. It was known as Atma serial. So it was 20 minutes Bhagavad Gita lecture, 7 days a week on in Mumbai channel run by the Hindujas. So that's where, because that family was close to ISKCON, Juhu, Gopal Krishna Maharaj and all. So we got a break, and I started speaking on television in 1995 when I was 24 years old. And then 96, 97, Sony saw that episodes and they wanted fresh series. So parallelly, apart from my lectures in colleges, I was also speaking in Atma serial in all of these channels. So Sony, then ETC, then Astha, Sanskar. And then in 2001, when Kaun Banega Karodpati began in Star Plus, that time Star Plus also gave a break for Atma serial, but they wanted Bhagavad Gita first to 18 chapter systematic. So there were many speakers, but because I was the youngest, I was kind of given task of coordinating all speakers to make sure that when the shoot is there, they have to come on this time, like that. So that was part of that particular journey, 2001 to 2003. In that 2 years, we did a lot of shoot and completed the entire 18 chapters of Gita, and it was very popular on Star Plus. And Star Plus ran it for almost 7-8 years. Then Colors took that over and another series started. So that was the television part. So I was very, very early mover in the television lecture series. But then by the time 2006-7 happened, Chopati temple, we did a lot of construction. I was getting, more into there was an administrator and projects person within me, the Kshatriya within me, which was getting an opportunity to come out. And I could sense that. And it also affected few of my other people around me who were very happy with me as a teacher. And they were kind of little getting bewildered. Hey, which way is this guy going? But because I was on a mandate given by Radhanath Swami and things were moving forward, so then I thought we'll complete the Chopati temple construction and then we will live happily ever after. That was the thought process. But 2008, and then Radhanath Swami then suddenly says, we should develop the project in Palghar as an eco-village. Because, people from across the world want to experience yoga, Ayurveda, spiritual tourism in a very quiet ambience. And there is a lot of discussion on sustainability. So that's where the seed of Govardhan Eco Village came. And in 2009, April, exactly, now we are in April, 2009, April, exactly 15 years ago, I got first involved with that Govardhan Eco Village project. I didn't want to, but because I've been serving with Maharaj for so many years, it became like a jugalbandi. So you can't just suddenly, say no to something which you don't. So I thought I'll get involved for a year or so, set things up, and then, come back to Chopati. That was my original thought.
But what was also happening in your head throughout all
I was thinking that, hey, what's this? If I get involved in Eco Village, my core identity as a teacher, preacher, because I was still teaching and preaching in the evenings. Although, previously daytime I would only study and evening teach. I continued teaching in the evening, but daytime a lot of administration crept in. And the amount of time I could devote to study decreased.
Also practice?
Practice was continuing same.
Which is in the morning.
That is continuing without fail.
Does it go deeper with age?
With age, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. Because you start getting used to getting up early in the morning. So as they say, saying no to temptations grudgingly is austerity. Saying no to temptations willingly is called higher taste. So that is what is known as param drishtva, higher taste. So then automatically that happened. So that morning part, I never had any issues ever, all through this last 30 years journey. That has been my core strength.
Because a lot of people associate deeper sadhana or deeper practice with the amount of time you're dedicating to it.
Yes, that's true.
But within, say hypothetically, if it's just 1 hour, 1.5 hours for all these years, within that 1 hour, 1.5 hours, can your sadhana go deep?
It can go deep. Definitely it can go deep. Why? Because when you start taking up administrative responsibilities, project responsibilities, you start dealing with teams. So as a teacher, I am telling you Gita, you accept it quietly. Then we say, let us start discussing on what should be the best arrangement for this podcast. Then suddenly I am no longer a teacher for you. Then you and me are talking of a topic which could have multiple options. So then suddenly we come at equal level. And where my opinions can be rebutted, can be questioned. That's what administration and management does. So when I sit in a management meeting in a group, each and every opinion of mine can be questioned. So what it does to me, it humbles me. So I may have spent less time with the books in those years of administration, but I gained deeper insights into the knowledge within those books through realizations.
The experience has become a guru.
Experience. It percolates in. I don't have to give lecture on humility. People around smash you so many times that you actually taste humility. So therefore, reading about humility is tasting the bottle from outside. But when people deal with you in ways which you don't expect, then you are actually tasting humility. So therefore, application Vigyan helps you. And then what ultimately percolates the most is when the people who are giving you instructions are pleased with what you're doing. So then that 2009 onwards, the Govardhan Eco Village was a very tough project in the middle of nowhere in Palghar. A great team came together. We went through challenges together. And that project brought me much closer to Radhanath Swami also, because it was his long-standing unfulfilled desire of something which Srila Prabhupada wanted in America in 1970s, which he was trying to fulfill here. So when you go through, various kinds of challenges together, it's baptism by fire. So you kind of also grow closer. So I feel that I started the Eco Village project when I was 39. So 39 to 53 has been the most challenging period in terms of the project as such, but it has also been the most spiritually enlivening and deepening period for me personally. And my own personal practices also grew to a next level of conviction over the years as I got more and more deeply involved in the project. So yes, and interestingly, as in monks' lives, as you become older, more established, more serene, more composed, more realized, people start getting attracted to you more when you're older than when you're young. So therefore, I would say that at 53, I have to be more careful about what I am doing and who's getting attracted to me, and to make sure that I maintain my monkhood than when I was at 23.
So you're so attractive. I get what you're saying though. Because at its core, the process of monkhood is to run away from Maya. I'm sorry if I'm using the term run away loosely. There's Maya all around us.
Yeah.
And even this attraction which you're facing in the 53rd year of your life is a form of Maya.
Yes. So Maya is there everywhere and trying to create hindrance, because Maya is a servant of Krishna to make sure that only the qualified enter the spiritual world. Those who are not qualified have to be taken. It's an examination body, testing body.
Death is the exam, life is the preparation.
Exactly.
Let's end this episode there, sir.
Hey, if you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out all the other clips we've uploaded on this channel. You'll find a clip related to almost every single topic, as long as you're willing to search for it.